My name's Guy. I started coming to Dr. O almost 2 years ago, and it was actually my wife and I that decided to look into our health a little bit deeper than what we already were doing. We were trying to stay more a natural path in our lifestyle, anyways. But then my wife started having some intestinal issues, and we decided to come learn a little bit about Dr. O's plan, and we came to one of the Faster Workshop seminars, and wow, what just a lot of great information that was provided there, and you can't deny that it gets you thinking about our world and the things we consume, whether it be the food or the things that we cook in, or the things that we're around in our playtime or our jobs. And we decided to get into it a little bit deeper and start changing some things in our life. For me personally, I was really starting to notice a lot of joint pain, in the knees, the elbows, the shoulders. Do a lot of physical work anyways, so at the end of the day, sometimes it could be a work day, sometimes it could be just playing, whether you're skiing or playing baseball, softball, football, and boy, you really pay for it the next few days. Your joints are swollen, you're lethargic, and it's like, I don't want this to be like this. I especially each year seemed to get worse and worse as I was getting older. And so I started learning about foods, and Dr. O showed me the plan that he wanted me to get on. And up until then, I in my whole life had never read a label. If it was good, you eat it. If it's bad and you don't like it, you don't eat it. So, but I had no education about food. And for me, one of the biggest things was getting off dairy and off gluten, and going a gluten-free diet. And and then those were the two main things. But then I was also going through getting different foods tested that I thought were fine for me, but my body just didn't like it. And sometimes you get that. You go out to dinner or cook something at home, and you kind of have that, not necessarily an upset stomach, but maybe a bloated feeling or a really full feeling. And it just didn't seem right to me. But I started eliminating those foods, especially the gluten and the dairy. And boy, all of a sudden my weight just dropped, and about 22 to 24 pounds. And it was a hard journey. The first day was the worst. When you say you can't have this bread or you can't have this muffin or whatever. And the second day got easier, the third day got easier, and then the next thing you know was a week went by, a month went by, and it's like, wow, my stomach, even though I never really had a stomach problem, it even just felt better. I didn't always have the full feeling. I had a satisfied feeling. Exactly when it came out about the joints, but all of a sudden my days started getting longer of just playing and working, and the next day it was like, oh, I can go do that again. Nothing hurt. And now that we're about 2 years into it, I don't even have the cravings anymore. I don't even have a desire to eat certain foods that I used to just make normal. And my joints, my knees, my elbows, my shoulders, I feel like I'm 30 years younger. There's nothing I can't do, and the fact of if I do it daily or even more aggressively, the days and weeks just kind of go right by, and I feel great. at the stomach. When you go out, you eat more whole foods and more proteins, more vegetables, and getting rid of some of that processed food that would cause my inflammation, the things that weren't agreeing with my body. And as we as I'm getting more educated, and as we've moved through different parts of the program, I have just learned to just totally eat differently, and it's not even a thought now. It just happens. What I used to eat here, I just don't eat anymore. I go out to dinner, and I pick some different things on the menu that are my favorites. And before, I look at some of the old things, some pastas and some things like that. I have no desire to eat them. So I guess the foods are the big thing for me. Now you start learning about the plastics and some of the elements of things we breathe, and you start trying to maneuver your life just a little bit different. And I guess all I can say is, wow. Your body just feels so much better, so much younger, so much more alive. And I think each case could be different as you approach different things. I went one way, my wife ended up going a different way, but we were able to bring our foods together to where we could still cook, we could still cook a meal that we could both eat. And it didn't really change anything. Same thing when you go out to dinner. It didn't change anything. It just changed what you pick. And once you soul search yourself and find out, you have to be ready to make some changes. I did not want to. I like to live an active life, and I would encourage anybody that wants to be active as we progress through our life, or we think about going into retirement someday. I want to be able to move around. I don't want to be a couch potato. I want to be able to do the things I did when I was 20, and hiking, playing sports, riding bike, walking, jogging, and those things were starting to be in the past for me because I was hurting so bad. So I would encourage anybody that is having some difficulty, whether it be physically, emotionally, digestively, that you just start asking questions, and take a less invasive route. That's what I like about Dr. O. It's a less invasive route. It's a more natural route. And if something happens that I need to get more aggressive with something, or we got to go to some specialty area, we have that option. But why not start with what is natural first? And that's where my wife and I went. And I would encourage you to think about that, and to realize it's really the habits you're changing. It's not anything else you're really changing in your life. It's the habits we develop. And some of them are good habits, but some of them can be bad habits that aren't so good for your health. And changing that is what made a difference for us, made a difference for me. I love thinking about the future now of all the activities I can do without that pain. And I've shared that with a lot of my coworkers, and I've had some people come to see Dr. O, and especially at minimum, check the Thursday night, Wednesday, Thursday night seminar he has there just for fast healing, because the education you can learn from that, to me, was the game changer. And it just drove my wife and I to want to investigate a little bit more and to learn a little bit more. And it was an area that I didn't know anything about before.